Hi, I'd like to do an experiment to look at the difference between what the player hears when playing an acoustic guitar and what the audience hears during the same performance. Let me give you some background as to why I'm interested in this. I recently bought this lovely guitar here. It's a Taylor 114E electroacoustic, Sapele laminate back and neck, solid neck, laminate back and sides, Sitka spruce top, ebony fingerboard, slightly narrower nut width, 1 11/16. Very nice guitar, and it had just what I was looking for. It had the brightness, it had the articulation, if that's the right word. It didn't have the muddiness that some dreadnoughts have. This is a grand auditorium size. And in trying to find this guitar, I played a lot of guitars. I tried guitars with mahogany fronts, I tried different sizes, triple O, I tried the smaller scale like the GS Mini, the Taylor GS Mini, the Little Martin. I did try dreadnoughts and didn't like them. I tried cedar top guitars, didn't like the tone, mahogany top I didn't like. So I settled on this, which is a Sitka top. It has a brightness to it. It's the tone I was looking for. But what struck me when I was trying these guitars was that the guitar sounded very different to me when I was playing it to when somebody else was playing it. Now, I know tone is in your fingers, so they say. I don't know that it's in my fingers. But it did seem like, to the audience, they're getting a much fuller sound than what I was hearing. And I've just made a judgment there. I wasn't going to prejudge this situation. I was going to let you decide about this. But what I'm going to do, I have here two identical Rode M3 microphones. One pointing over my shoulder, which is in theory what I'm hearing, and one pointing straight at the guitar, offset, pointing at an angle towards the sound hole. They're recorded through a Focusrite Scarlett 2i4 interface into GarageBand. And what you'll hear is me playing a number of samples, and you'll hear, first of all, the audience version through the front mic, and then you'll hear the version I'm hearing over my shoulder. And you can decide, despite the fact I've just pretty much said what my opinion was in the shop. But actually, maybe that's not my opinion. I think I'm going to learn something from this, because I've not had the chance to sit and listen to the guitar while I'm playing it. So maybe I'll have a different opinion after this video. But I'll get on with the playing and I'll let you decide. I've listened back to the video recordings, and I think the thing that struck me most is that you just can't get a proper feel for how a guitar sounds when you're playing it. From a mono-directional mic like that, you don't get the three-dimensional feel that you get when playing an acoustic guitar yourself. You're just getting a very narrow snapshot, and it does sound a little artificial, no matter what sort of mic you're using. But also, I think the difference I'm hearing between the shoulder mic and the front mic is that you're hearing more of the room in the shoulder mic. Now, it may be a little bit further from the guitar. It may be because the guitar is slightly quieter from the side, and so you're hearing more of what's reflected off the walls in the shoulder mic. But that's the difference I think I'm hearing. And I think the conclusions we can draw is that an acoustic guitar will sound different depending on where you play it. It will sound different at different places in the room, and it will sound different in different rooms. And the same guitar will sound different to the player and the listener, particularly if the listener's sitting in the middle of the room, because you get such thing as room nodes. And the middle of most rooms, like square rooms, cube rooms in particular, if it's a small room where the width is similar to the height, you'll get a very strong bass response in the middle of the room, which will colour the sound of the guitar. And the player sitting by the wall may not hear that. Also, a guitar will sound different in different rooms. The amount of furnishings, how vibrant the room is, how reflective the walls are, they all make a difference to the sound of the guitar, because the sound you're hearing is coming from all around you. It's an immersive 3D experience, and you're going to have to take this into account. I've auditioned a lot of guitars in guitar shops. I've been to a lot of guitar shops. It's the thing I do. And I've played the same guitar in several shops, including the Taylor that I was playing in this video. And it tends to sound different in different shops. A thing about guitar shops is they all have guitars on the wall. Those guitars all tend to be tuned to the same pitch, so will create very strong resonances around the open strings. They will vibrate in sympathy with what you're playing. If you're put in a little guitar booth that has sound processing, sound treatment, so that somebody can play a loud electric guitar in there without disturbing everybody else in the shop, that booth is going to sound quite dead. And also, because it's small, what reflections there are in there, it may have a very coloured sound when you're playing an acoustic guitar. Acoustic guitars can sound very strange in booths. And I've noticed in particular, some guitars have very big main rooms, and the guitar will sound very different in that to playing the guitar in one of their little soundproofed areas, not necessarily a booth, but just a little room, a little bit smaller, perhaps with a glass front to it, as I've seen in some guitar shops. So I think that the conclusions I'm going to draw from this little experiment is, if you want to buy a guitar, don't just go on one single listening in one guitar shop. If you can play the same guitar in a number of different shops, great. If you can move around within the guitar shop, if you're in a booth and you think, I'm not sure about the sound of this guitar, try moving out into the main body of the shop. Go to the shop during the week, maybe, if you can, when it's a little less busy and you're not competing with electric guitar players trying to shred. Just get yourself some quality time with that guitar, and don't go on a single listening in a single guitar shop. So I hope you enjoyed that. I hope it's been informative. I think I've learned something from it. So yeah, I think it's been useful.